Jules Verne is remembered as the father of modern science fiction, but his extraordinary Voyages series also encompassed works of a slightly less fantastical nature. Perhaps the most famous of these is the tale of Phileas Fogg's attempt to go around the world in 80 days, a feat that would have seemed like science fiction just a few decades before the book's 1872 publication. The novel received the limited editions club treatment in 1962, and that's the edition I'll be looking at here. Within the blue and green paper-covered slipcase, we receive a book quarter-bound in white English vellum. The volume is bound with marbled paper boards of a striking blue, embellished with golden flecks that occasionally catch the light. A gold foil label on the spine bears the title in a calligraphic script that was lettered by hand. The top edge of the text block is stained blue, end papers are white, and the binding is sewn. The text was set in 14-point Joanna by the Plantin Press and is printed on a white wove stock from the Curtis Paper Company. It's a heavy paper that has a nice coarse texture. Much like The Mysterious Island, there's a playful introduction supplied by renowned science fiction author Ray Bradbury. It's very much a US-centric introduction, high on the optimism of the emerging space age. Edward A. Wilson, meanwhile, reprises his role as illustrator of an LEC Verne edition. The illustrations are perhaps a little gaudy for modern tastes, but there are plenty of them. As well as 16 larger images scattered throughout the book, each chapter begins with a small thematic illustration. The pictures were coloured in the studio of Walter Fisher. The book ends with a colophon page identifying it as one among 1,500 copies produced, as well as providing other production details. The page is hand-numbered and signed by the illustrator. The novel sees protagonist Phileas Fogg enter into an ill-judged wager that requires him, along with manservant Jean Passepartout, to circumnavigate the globe in 80 days, a feat barely possible despite the development of rail and steam routes. Fogg is a character unmistakably cast from the Verne mould, unflappably stoic, ingeniously inventive, entirely self-reliant. But the book's journey leaves limited room for these qualities to really shine. The Mysterious Island's Harding had an entire island's nature to technologically tame, while in 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, Nemo mastered the oceans with his unfathomable submarine. Fogg, too, masters nature, but he does so on the backs of others, the railway engineers and naval architects that made his voyage possible. The nearest to ingenuity that Fogg ever really comes is to wave some banknotes at a ship captain in exchange for a faster passage. How bourgeois. The magic of Verne, which lived in those few decades of the 19th century during which one man could rise above the rest through mastery of science, is thus somewhat lost. Fogg, rather, is a decidedly modern anti-Nemo, a consumer rather than a wielder of science.